Welcome back to Ozarks Live. Please welcome Ethan Forhes with Convoy of Hope. Ethan, we love when you join us, but unfortunately, it's always because there's a lot of things going on, disasters, but Convoy is always that source of hope and love and care for people. So
it seems like there's always a disaster going on.
Yes.
We have a big one right now, Hurricane Fiona. Last year, for example, Convoy responded to 64 disasters, 52 weeks of the year, and you can see how busy we are. We're on pace for more than that this year. A lot of water disasters this year, it seems like. But Hurricane Fiona is still causing problems down in the Caribbean. Turks and Caicos right now is the latest, where it actually strengthened from when it hit Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico yesterday. It got stronger since then and is now has hit Turks and Caicos. So a lot of people need a lot of help, and we'll see for how long they need that help, because you know, with Hurricane Maria, power was out for some people for a year. I mean, imagine that.
Yeah, we just hear about it for a few days, and then we go on with our lives, and we kind of forget.
We had the ice storm, and I was out power in 2007 for 11 days. And that seemed unbelievable. I could barely handle it. So you go a month or more down there on the island, and that's a long time.
Now, when you guys go and help with maybe these hurricane disaster reliefs, what exactly are you doing on the grounds there?
We are supplying them with just the basics they need to get through today into tomorrow, so that they can begin to get their feet back under them a little bit, begin to rebuild, do whatever they need to do to try to get life back to normal a little bit. And depending on the severity of the storm, and this time the flooding was the big issue. The storm surge and the flooding even more did more damage in some spots than Hurricane Maria, a very strong Category 4 storm that hit 5 years ago this month. So we're supplying people with water and food and hygiene kits, baby supplies, all the things that you need in a normal day to live your life, but you don't have access to right now.
Yeah. So you guys were just in Mississippi, though, and that water crisis is now over?
It is. Well, pretty much over. I mean, they still have a lot of work to do on the water system there to get it back up and running properly. But it's got Band-Aids on it right now, and it's running. The boil order is over, so there's not really a big need anymore for the water that Convoy of Hope was supplying. But you know what happened there? The flooding happened. It was extreme, historic flooding in Jackson. You're seeing video from when we were there just several days ago now, giving out water to people. The flooding caused a lot of problems, but then the flooding receded, and they realized that the water system was in big trouble. It needs a bunch of money and a bunch of updates. So everybody was on a boil order, and the town's about the size of Springfield, about 165,000 people.
Pretty good sized town.
Yeah, that's a lot of people under a boil order. So what we're doing is supplying them with bottled water, with filters. We partner with a lot of churches, so this is in a church parking lot. Volunteers are there. They put on a Convoy of Hope t-shirt, and they hand out water to their neighbors. So it's really a great model of how neighbor helps neighbor, and the church gets to be the church in communities like this.
That's amazing. Now, something else still largely happening in our world is obviously everything over in Ukraine. What is Convoy still doing to help with the efforts over there?
It is a daily grind over there for us, and it's no longer in the news here. You don't really hear about it until maybe something major happens, because Ukraine is making some inroads on Russia now, so that's the good news that we've been hearing about lately. But it's not an everyday story on the news anymore. But the war's still going on, just like it was, and there are some communities that have been decimated. There's no infrastructure there, so now the Ukrainian people are being able to go back, and they don't have anything. They don't have stores where they can go buy things. So we've pledged 50 million meals to the people of Ukraine. We're working in Ukraine and in 13 other countries around Ukraine with refugees, just getting them the things that they need, because their whole world has been turned upside down. It's difficult for us. It's a war. So this is new for Convoy of Hope, going into war zones. We're sending unmarked trucks in. We have warehouses inside Ukraine that are unmarked as well, because we have to be very, very careful. And then once we get them to the supplies to the warehouse, those meals, we take smaller vehicles into neighborhoods, and that's where we hold the distribution.
That's so tricky. So if you need volunteers, if you need donations, how do people find more information?
The best way to do it, you can always go to, it's right there on the screen, convoyofhope.org. You guys are one step ahead of me. Thank you. Convoyofhope.org. If you're looking for something specific, you can go to convoyofhope.org/Ukraine, for example, or /Fiona, and you can get updates. But right there on the main page, we have news and stories where you can find out what we're doing on a daily basis, and there are always donations donation options there for you to be part of it.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate the
you guys.
updates.
All right, up next on Ozarks Live, get all the details on this weekend's Mopar Classic.
We chat with Turpentine Creek when we return.